Hello, I'm Stephen Parker, an architect here at Smithgroup in Washington, D.C., and I'm here interviewing another architect, Nicole Sikorski, and we're going to learn a little bit about her work, and maybe get some of her thoughts and advice for young architects coming into the profession. So Nicole, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I just wanted to dig a little bit into your background, how you became an architect, and how you got here at Smithgroup.
Sure. So I went to grad school at Virginia Tech, got my master's in architecture, and my now husband and I went out to San Francisco on a whim. We just chose a city that we enjoyed going to, and luckily for us, ours is actually an interesting story. We graduated in 2008. So we went out for a week in February, and we each had about 13 interviews, and we hit the streets, and I think we were doing 3 interviews a day. So
Intense?
I'd say it was very intense. We started working in July of 2008, and about a month later, the economy crashed. So we were very, very lucky. And digressing a little bit, but everybody after that, all of our friends in school had a very challenging time getting jobs. So that was an interesting position to be in, to witness the economy crash and having just started a new job.
Mean, it's timing is everything sometimes.
Yeah.
And it works out because you started at the Smithgroup office in San Francisco.
No, actually, I started at KMD Architects.
Okay.
So they are a West Coast firm in San Francisco, Portland, and Seattle.
Okay.
And their primary focus was healthcare, actually.
Okay.
Which, leaving school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to do pretty buildings.
Pretty healthcare buildings, right?
Yeah, and they had some pretty buildings. So I actually got involved on a hospital project immediately and realized I actually liked it. I loved the complex nature of hospitals, the coordination required. I actually enjoyed spending a significant amount of time with one team.
Building a rapport.
Yeah, getting to know the users, getting to know the contractor. I actually lived on site on that first project 3 days out of the week down in Monterey, California, just south of San Francisco. It was a really awesome experience. But I then, it was a little bit far away from family, being from the East Coast, so we decided to move back east, and that's how I found Smithgroup, actually. I interviewed at their San Francisco office.
Okay, gotcha. And then you came over here.
I did.
And there is actually one project of hers, Piedmont, that is behind us. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Oh, sure. So I am the project architect right now for Piedmont. It's a master facility project, so it's a pretty intense phased project. It involves demolishing an existing tower, moving all those folks that are in that existing tower from the 1920s to various locations on the hospital, including adding a whole new level to an existing tower on campus.
Not uncomplicated.
Yeah, very complicated. So we're in the midst of all those projects, small projects right now, very fast pace. And we're going to be doing a new tower in the spot of that old tower. So that's what you can see in the background here.
Great.
Yeah.
Just change it up. So what is your favorite book or TV show or podcast?
So my favorite book, I'm a little old school. I'm a big Jane Austen fan, actually.
Oh, really?
I am. Nice. My favorite is Pride and Prejudice.
Pride and Prejudice.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Compared to the movies?
Oh, the book's the best.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Right. I do like, what's his name? Mark. I'm forgetting his name.
It will come to me after this interview.
Yeah, the original Mark Darcy.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
Bridget Jones' Diary, Mark Darcy.
A purist. Okay, gotcha.
Yes.
Good to know. So, as a project architect, do you have any sort of advice for kind of recent graduates coming into the profession? Healthcare, especially since it's more technical than the other types of typologies that we have. What kind of advice can you give from that perspective?
So one of the things that I feel like was a benefit to me was actually being involved in construction administration right out of the bat, actually. Okay. I think a year after I started, I was in the field, on the site, learning how things were built. Yeah, hard hat and all. And I found that the learning curve is like this, and I felt when I went back into the office doing my next design set, I really had a good understanding of what I was drawing. I wasn't just drawing lines, and my recommendation is don't be afraid of stepping out there and getting involved on the construction side.
Great.
Construction end of design.
Yeah, because it's really important to kind of see that design through that end process, where all the kinks are, especially,
Yeah.
Oh, I've learned this the hard way, let's not do that again.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. Great. Beyond that, just can you tell us a little bit about Smithgroup here and what do you like about it and so forth?
Smithgroup is amazing. It has a really good group of people. What I love about it is that they always look to talent within. If there's a need on a project or there's growth or new positions in the office, I think they're really good about evolving the staff here and pulling from the talent that's already here instead of looking elsewhere. And I think it allows a lot of growth for the staff here.
Great. Opportunities internally are always great.
Yep.
And you sit on a couple internal kind of Smithgroup committees, right?
Yes. I am involved on a committee right now. We are focused on design and documentation process, so honing Smithgroup's current standards and how we access our standards and tools.
Yeah, one of the benefits of a large firm is always kind of having those resources to pull from, whether that's those other colleagues in other offices to work on these types of things so that we elevate the standard of care we provide as architects.
Right, and they're always evolving since our tools are evolving, so we're just kind of catching up with that and finding out. Yeah, technology, exactly.
Great, yeah. And I think that besides, your work in healthcare, have you explored any other typologies here?
So I have been involved in some workplace projects. So I did a penthouse downtown DC. Actually, it was really fun with a bocce court. And
bocce courts.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I'm noticing a lot more of those are going up around here. Actually.
Yeah.
So you never know what you're going to design.
Yeah, and at KMD, I did some government work with courthouses.
Okay.
But I always kind of come back to healthcare.
Gotcha. Yeah, it does kind of, you find that you kind of were drawn to that and you can snowball your knowledge. And now being a project architect on a large project, Piedmont is a great path forward. So besides you coming up through Virginia Tech, do you think that when you were in school, anything you wish you had learned or wish you sort of spent more time on when you got into practice?
Yeah, I'd say I wish that I had a little bit more background in the technical aspects of architecture, and also the business aspects of architecture.
What do they always say?
Difficult conversations, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Contracts when those
right.
come up.
Yeah, exactly.
Negotiate them. Is this within my scope?
Right.
And things of that nature. They always say that architects make poor businessmen, but if we get more exposure to that in school, or in the case of this firm, we can get more of that exposure as we do our practice. I think it's more important for us to evolve as a profession.
Right.
So that's everything I've got to ask for today. Thank you very much, Nicole, for coming out here and taking the time. Hopefully you'll tune in again for the Ask an Architect show. I'm Stephen Parker here at Smithgroup, and thank you again, Nicole.
Thanks for having me.